artists, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing Ohuhu's 120 pack of alcohol markers. Before we get started, I just wanted to say this video is not sponsored and all opinions are my own. As you can see, this thing is massive. I did not expect the 120 pack to be this big and also pretty heavy. This 120 pack of Ohuhu markers goes for $99.99 on Amazon, and each marker comes to about 83 cents. The pack comes with a strap you can put on yourself so you can travel with it, and it also comes with a smaller one. So if you don't want to travel with it on your shoulder, then you can just hold it by hand. Overall, the package holding the markers is really high quality. So now finally we are going to open it up. So as soon as I opened this up, I was amazed by the explosion of colors I saw. I mean, there are so many pretty colors and they all look just so vibrant. I can guarantee you will not be disappointed by the variety of colors you get. Besides the markers, this pack came with a protector pad that you put behind your papers so it doesn't bleed onto the other papers, which is really considerate of the company. Besides the pad, it came with a booklet that gives you more information about the product, and it also tells you some other packs you could get and all the colors that come in the 120 pack. I'm not going to go over the entire booklet though. The last thing it comes with are two swatch pads for the markers. They're really helpful to test out the markers and also know which color's what. You can also take the markers out of the bag so you can see them more properly, and I was definitely struggling to take it out of the bag, but eventually I got it. Now that it's out of its case, I am going to sort them all by color. Here is where you're about to watch me instantly regret my decision. Looking back at the footage now, I'm pretty sure there was a better way to sort them all. So now I am actually going to start the sorting process. I am sorting them all by color, and eventually I had to place the case on top of the markers since I didn't really have space to put it anywhere else when I was sorting. That way I could have more space on the desk. Honestly, there probably would have been a better way to sort the colors, but I guess it's too late now. I was trying to put the reds and purples together, the greens, oranges, and yellows together, and the grays and browns go together, but then eventually I realized that there was a bit too much space left for the blues, so I decided to move the blues and the purples together, and then put the reds, oranges, and yellows together as well. And I think this way turned out a lot better. If you didn't see, there was one marker left that I didn't see behind the pack, but I eventually put that in, so don't worry. Now I am going to get started on the swatching. This process took so long. I had to cut down so much footage of this and really speed it up. I am going to talk about how the colors actually look. So I was really pleased with all of the colors, although when I was doing the pinks, I was a little disappointed on how some of them seemed like almost exactly identical. Some of them I was hoping for lighter pinks and more pastel colors, but even though some of them were listed pastel, they didn't exactly have the pastel quality I was looking for, which is totally fine because I still really love all of the colors. I wish that the swatches were color sorted in like rainbow order so it would be easier to find which color I was looking for, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I think all the colors are so vibrant, so saturated, and so beautiful. There is definitely enough colors in this pack to make a full-fledged masterpiece. There was a lot of blues, greens, and grays ranging from dark to light ones, and I really loved that. There were so many vibrant blues and greens, and all the grays are really good for lighting or shading. I also love some of the names that the company comes up with for these markers. One of them's like Dolphin Blue, another one is Sugarcane Dusty Jade Green. They all just sound so nice and really match with the color. The markers feel really nice on the paper, and I am going to get into that after the swatching. I am not joking when I say this took forever. I could probably make a whole video on just the swatching. Despite the fact that it took long, it was really relaxing doing all the swatching. Although sometimes I couldn't find the color I was looking for a while. So here are the finished swatches. Now that we've done that, I am going to tell you more about the tips and also about the blending of the markers. So this is what the Ohuhu markers look like up close. I think that these markers are really high quality. So each marker comes with two nibs on each side. One side is a brush nib, and then the other side is a chisel nib. I am going to show you how each of these markers work. I am going to start off with the brush nib. So this is what a brush nib looks like. This is personally my favorite brush to use when coloring, and it does nice lines. Some are thin and then some are thicker. Now I am going to show you the chisel nib. The chisel nib does nice lines as well, and it does much thicker lines, and the chisel tip is helpful to use when coloring larger spaces. It also does nice thin lines. I prefer using the brush nib more than the chisel nib, but I think both nibs are very helpful when coloring. Now I am going to show you the blending. So right now I am doing the blending without the colorless blender that this pack comes with, and the blending without the blender is already really good. I'm just blending the two colors together and it looks like really good. The blending comes out smooth and everything. Now I am going to use the colorless blender. I don't think I did the colorless blender justice because I have used Ohuhu for a really long time and the colorless blender looks good, but this time I don't think I did the blending right, so it kind of looks a little wonky. But don't get me wrong, the blender is really good. I just didn't do it justice here. So overall, I think the blending without the blender and the blending with the blender are both really good and they both blend really smooth. And if you are looking for markers that blend really smooth, I would definitely recommend Ohuhu markers. So here is what the blending looks like up close and also a bit of what the brush tips look like up close. Now that I've done the blending and showed you what the brush tip looks like, we are going to put these markers into an actual art piece. That way you can see what it looks like when you're actually coloring with them. So the first thing you should know, unlike Copic markers, which brush tips are flexible, these brush tips are a bit more stiff. Not like they don't work or anything, the tips are just a bit more hard. It's not that big of the deal, and I actually prefer the brush tips than Copics because I feel like it has a lot more precision. This pack comes with a lot of skin colors, hair colors, for backgrounds, clothes, all the stuff that I'm doing here, which is why I wanted to do this piece. And it's just perfect because this set basically has everything you need to create a masterpiece, as I said earlier. I don't think I explained what I'm drawing, but I am drawing a candy girl. I was looking on Pinterest for for a reference pose, and I just came up with the idea to do a candy girl. And to be honest, this is probably one of my favorite pieces. I love how the line art turned out and how the coloring turns out after. Since the 120 piece set came with a lot of different colors, I wanted to make a drawing that I could use a lot of colors on, and I don't know, I just felt like the candy girl would be a perfect way to show all the colors that I got in this pack. Doing the hair took a really long time because I was trying to get the blending right, but I really loved doing the blending. As I said earlier, the blending on these markers are incredibly smooth and I just love how they glide across the paper. Maybe someday I could show you how I color with the alcohol markers because everyone does it their own way and I'd love to show you how I color with them. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I do a video like that? I just want to say if you do end up getting any sort of alcohol marker, you definitely need to practice with them. You won't automatically be good at blending or coloring with them because at first I was definitely not good at blending with alcohol markers and I definitely had to practice. So always just remember, search up some tutorials on how to blend or just practice with them. Practice shading things like skin or hair because then it will make using the alcohol markers a lot more fun to use. I absolutely love how the hair turned out. I really like the hair pieces I added. Originally, the hair was going to be a light pink, but since this pack didn't really come with many pastel pinks, I decided to go for a darker pink. Since this Ohuhu Marker pack didn't come with any super light pinks, I did have to use a lighter pink marker that didn't come in the 120 set, as well as an Artix marker that was also light pink. But other than those two markers, I only used the markers from the 120 set. On the purple bow, I only just remembered to incorporate the colorless blender because I usually don't use the colorless blender that often, but sometimes I forget how good the colorless blender is to blend with. I really like how this Candy Girl's shirt came out, and the blues that came in this set were so pretty, and I had to use them in this piece because there were so many blues. This year, I have definitely been wanting to try to incorporate new things into my art, and I feel like in this piece, you can definitely see my improvement. At least I can see my improvement because I hardly ever put that much detail into the hair, and I feel like putting a few more strokes and lines into the hair really makes a difference on your entire drawing. I put the words sweet dreams in this drawing because I felt like it seemed appropriate given that this is like a candy themed drawing. I don't know, maybe this girl is like living her candy fantasy or something like that. After I finish off the lettering, now it's time to color in the candies and stars and hearts in the back. This was really fun to do because it was really small and it was also easy to color in. I made a green lollipop because I didn't want there to be too much pink or too much of one color because then it would seem kind of uneven. So I decided to make like, I don't know, maybe that red and green lollipop could be a watermelon lollipop and then the orange one could just be an orange flavored lollipop. I don't know. Now that the main parts are done, it's time to get started on the background. I decided to use a pale yellow for the background because, as I said earlier, I don't want to use too much of the same color or else it might look a bit weird. so I felt like yellow was the right color to use. There is only a few times where I've ever fully colored in a page like this, and I really like it. I want to keep doing this more where I just color in the background entirely. I still felt like the background was a bit blank, so I decided to use dark yellow to put some stripes in the background, and I feel like this made the entire drawing pop out a lot more. It was a lot of fun making the stripes in the background. Even though they're not perfectly straight, I think they added a lot more to this drawing. The very last thing I'm going to do for this drawing is add highlights, which is one of my favorite parts. I added some to the hair and to all the candies and the lettering, and also a bit to the bow and the clothes. Tiny details can really make a big difference in a piece. I add a few more details to the drawing and we are finally done. Here is the finished drawing. I absolutely love how it turned out. This is probably my favorite drawing I've ever made. My final and honest opinion on these markers is that they are amazing and incredible. The colors on these markers are so vibrant and the blending is so smooth. I absolutely love these markers and they are for an affordable price. I would definitely recommend you get these. If you don't want to get this many markers, there are smaller packs also for an affordable price. You can find these smaller packs on Amazon. If you want to get these markers, I will be leaving a link in the description where you can get them. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. Bye!